In this video, I am going to spend nearly 100 days building 11 ultra-realistic farms inside of my hardcore Minecraft world. Using reference images from online, I am going to reconstruct all of these farms to be as realistic as possible. Oh yeah, and if I sound a little bit different today, it's because last week I got braces put on my teeth and it's given me a little bit of a lisp, which I am still getting used to. Anyways, as always, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get to today's video. First things first, I need to pick a location for this new farming area, and I'd prefer that it's somewhat flat and also quite large. Across from the island, we have this area where the temporary villager breeder is set up, and it is quite flat and also quite large, but I kind of want to save this for a future project like building a fully custom village. The other location is behind all of our automatic farms, which is right back here, and I think is going to be the winner. It's not right up against the water's edge, it's actually a few blocks back, but it is relatively flat and already pretty large. I'm just gonna need to do a little bit of terraforming. So getting straight into it, I began by removing all of the nearby acacia trees along with a few of the oak trees. With those now out of the way, I could begin removing the dirt from some of the higher portions of this platform, and using that dirt I just collected to fill in some of the lower areas. A spot that needed a ton of work was this back corner because it had a really funky and unorganic shape to it. So I simply just rounded off the corner and filled in a bunch of layers of dirt. Dude, what are you guys doing back here? Get out of here. This is so nice. I just got sharpness 4 on my sword and it is so much easier to kill things. Once I took a step back, I realized this area wasn't quite big enough, so I went ahead and added some more dirt down on the opposite end, but not completely finishing up all the terraforming because I might want to expand this out later and I don't want to spend a ton of time cleaning this area up if there's a chance it might be all gone later. You know, this area ended up being far bigger than I anticipated, but that's okay because it just means we can build even more farms. But before we get started on those farms, I need to make my way over to the lumber mill we built last episode so I can collect up a crap load of wood to build all of these farms along with a farmhouse. Dude, what in the hell is going on? I've dumped like 2 stacks of bone meal into trying to grow this tree and it will not grow. While I waited for that tree to figure out what it wants to do with its life, I went ahead and started harvesting up all of the oak logs from our oak tree farms. Hopefully this is going to be a sufficient amount of logs to build this farmhouse. Oh my god, this lisp is going to be the freaking death of me. Moving on, I now need to collect up a little bit of sand which I can throw into the furnace to get some glass for windows, along with running around collecting up flowers so I can make the place look pretty. Heading down into the caves, I want to find a solid granite deposit that I can collect up because I'm planning on using granite and brick for the roof of this farmhouse. While I'm down here, I am also going to collect up a couple stacks of andesite, which I'm going to use for texturing with stone, and some stone brick for the foundation. Once I was back up at the surface, I quickly realized that just under 2 stacks of oak logs is not going to be nearly enough for this build, so I went back over to the lumber yard and harvested the tree farms a couple more times. God damn it, there has got to be a way to stop these big trees from growing because they are the biggest pain in the ass to chop down. They also don't work for this tree farm because most of the leaves are outside of the hoppers, so yeah. I'm planning on using all of this red sand I collected up last episode as the second floor block, but considering that I am planning on using granite and brick for the roof, I have a feeling it might not look very good having the second floor and the roof be kind of the same color. So since I absolutely despise my well-being, I decided to head out on an adventure looking for a large beach that I can collect a shitload of sand from, or a desert if I could find one, but mainly I just came across small patches of sand along the rivers. No, I'm drowning. Oh, forgot that oxygen is a thing. Once I had about 9 stacks of sand, I could craft all of this into sandstone and then use it. No. I'm not going to use normal sandstone. I'm then going to throw all of this into the furnace so I can get some smooth sandstone, which I think looks so freaking good and I always forget about. And that pretty much leaves me with one thing left to do, which is to build this damn house. Getting straight into it, I decided to use a couple stacks of dirt to build a higher portion of this area, so the house sits 1 to 2 blocks higher than all of the farms. Once I had all of the dirt placed in, I spent a little while working on the front facade of the building, trying to come up with a design I like. Once I was happy with the look, I could then go ahead and build this on the other 3 sides of the building. With the first floor now complete, I can now move up to the second floor, which is where I want to bring in this smooth sandstone. I also used a little bit of grass I harvested with my Silk Touch pickaxe to add in these 3-block planters in front of the windows. Similar to how I built the first floor, once I had the front of the second floor figured out, I could go ahead and build the other 3 sides up. So far, this farmhouse is looking absolutely incredible, but I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do to the side of the building right here, because we have a pretty big open area, and I think once the walls are up and the roof, it'll kind of look dumb just having this like perfectly flat wall. So I think I'm actually going to do a little overhang, and maybe we can put some animal pens down here. But before I can get to that, I need to go out and collect up a crap load more sand, because I am completely out of this smooth sandstone. Making my way back over to the river, I collected up a modest 4 stacks of sand, which I could then craft into 1 stack of sandstone and then throw this into the furnace so it can smelt into some more smooth sandstone. While I wait for that stuff to cook up, I went ahead and got started working on these animal pens on the side of the building. But rather than doing animal pens, I'm just going to do one large area that I can maybe put some horses in or turn it into a little crafting area. By the time I was done building this small area, the sandstone had all smelted up, so I can go ahead and finish up this second floor. What up, brother? You trading anything good? No, you are not. When did they start trading? You could trade them things for emeralds. I didn't know that was a thing. Anyways, I'm sorry, but I want your leads. So far, the house is looking great. I ran out of smooth sandstone for the second time, so I'm currently waiting for that to smelt up. But my God, this thing is so freaking big. I did not realize how big I was making it. I was thinking that I could maybe put some of my farmer villagers in here once I do get them and almost turn it into sort of like a farming trading hall. But then I remembered I have an iron farm right over there, and I think this would be too close to it, causing the iron farm to most likely break. Also, I am willing to bet this thing is completely full right now, or at least the chest is. Yep, it is again. Oh my goodness. Oh, I gotta grab all this stuff. Yeah, everything is full. I need to set up a crafter down here to craft all of the ingots into blocks. And then maybe set up like a trash can for the poppies, because I have so many goddamn poppies. I don't need any more from this farm. Anyways, I went ahead and made some more smooth sandstone so I can finally finish up the second floor, which meant I can now move on to the roof. Once I had the roof completely filled in, I felt it was looking a little bit bland, so I decided to add in 2 chimneys near the middle peak, along with a few smaller windows using some spruce edge trim form to make them stand out a little bit more. This thing has turned out incredible looking. I absolutely love the use of sandstone, or the smooth sandstone, which, as I said earlier, is a block I don't typically use because I honestly just kind of forget about it. Anyways, when it comes to the interior, this building does not yet have one, but we will definitely be adding one in before the end of today's video. But before I do that, I actually want to go ahead and start planning out the farms that are going to go in this area. To start things off, I measured how many blocks it is across this entire platform, which it varies between 34 and 36 blocks, which will give me just enough space to do 2 13 by 15 block rectangles up against one another. Since I'm simply just in the planning phase, I'm going to use some andesite and cobblestone to lay out these rectangles, along with turning some of the grass into path blocks, which is going to be the main pathway for this entire area. I went ahead and spent a couple of minutes running around with some signs labeling each one of these farm areas. For example, this back corner is going to be sugarcane, and then across the way we have moss, along with sweet berries, carrots, wheat, and potato all the way down at the end. There was this small area, this little like funky spot, which I am going to designate for 2 tall flowers, since they don't need a whole bunch of space, since I'm just going to be bone mealing each one of them to get those flowers. Although I don't think the 6 plots are going to be nearly enough. So I spent a few minutes looking around for another suitable area for some more farm areas, and I think this upper portion right here is going to be perfect. It's going to be nice too because we're going to have a little bit of height variation since it comes up a couple of blocks, and already it's pretty flat, so it shouldn't be too much work. So just like before, I began by removing all of the trees that are in this area, but that's not all. I also need to bring the terrain down by 1 to 2 blocks depending on the area. I thought this was going to be a pretty small and easy terraforming project, but it actually was even more work than the original platform. Once I had the entire area flat, I could then bring in the cobblestone and andesite to set up 4 more areas for some farms. But of course, while removing some unnecessary dirt, I made a huge mistake. No. Oh my god, my shovel just broke. Are you kidding me? I completely... Oh. Well, I guess that means I now need to go down to the skeleton XP farm to go get up to level 30, and hopefully we can get another efficiency 4 unbreaking 3 shovel. But first I need to go get my diamonds from the house so I can actually craft a new shovel, along with getting some lapis because I'm not sure I have any down there. I'm gonna grab the book too, because why not? The reason I'm so annoyed about having to go down to the skeleton spawner is because I have been very lazy recently and have yet to build a staircase or a water elevator that goes directly to the spawner, which means I need to traverse through all of the caves that aren't adequately lit up and have mobs spawning in them, along with running through the abandoned mine shaft, which is honestly a little bit of a goddamn maze, to finally reach the spawner where I now need to sit at for the next like 20 minutes. Once I was finally up to level 30, I could craft a diamond shovel and throw it in the enchantment table and get just efficiency 4, which is not good enough because I need to have unbreaking 3. So for the second time, I got myself up to level 30 again and crafted another diamond shovel, hoping to get unbreaking 3 this time. Dude, of course I get 2 efficiency 4 shovels back to back with no unbreaking. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world because if I craft another shovel, what's it showing? Efficiency 4 again? Okay, hopefully this one gets unbreaking 3 on it, and then I can combine them together and get an efficiency 5 shovel. But back to getting up to level 30 for the 3rd time now. I was about to enchant this shovel for the 3rd time, and I just noticed that the book is showing unbreaking 3, so I'm gonna go with that, and then I can go ahead and combine these 2 together to get efficiency 5, and then throw the book on to get unbreaking 3 efficiency 5. Oh, dude, and now, I mean, kind of a blessing in disguise, we have an even better shovel than we had before. I decided to get myself up to level 30 for one final time because I noticed that a pair of diamond boots was showing feather falling 4, which is something I have yet to acquire, and I feel like is an extremely important enchantment to have on your boots. I went ahead and combined the 2 pairs of boots I had to give me this extremely OP set of boots. And with that, I could head back up to the surface. And finally, now that I have a good shovel back in my hands, I can finish up all of these farming areas. When that last shovel broke, all I had left was about half of one of the farmlands. Although, you know what? I guess I still needed to turn all of the grass into path blocks, which probably would have broke it if I didn't repair it. Just like that, we now have 11 spots to build some farms if you include this little guy for the 2 tall flowers, which I think that means it's about... As I was saying, I think it's about time to get started on these farms, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with this back corner, which is the bamboo farm. But first, I need to head over to the nearby oak forest to collect up a couple stacks of oak logs because I'm pretty much all out of them. On another note, dude, bananas freaking slap. Normally, you would never catch me eating a banana, but with these braces, I've had to like reteach myself how to eat food because it hurts so damn bad, especially for these first couple of days. And bananas happen to be one of those things saplings that are pretty soft and pretty easy to eat. Although they get stuck in the braces so fucking bad, it is unbelievable. Before I actually build the bamboo farm, I want to get some sort of fence set up around the perimeter, which will more than likely be the same fence I use for a majority of these farms. What I'm thinking so far is by putting a fence gate in the middle and then going a fence post on each side, bringing in some logs next to those fence posts, and then I can put a trapdoor right here and here. And you know what? I also want to get some spruce slabs real quick, which I can then throw on top of these oak logs and pretty much just continue the same style, but not doing the fence gate. But you know what? Actually, that might not work because this gap is going to be too big. What if I did this instead? The fence gate there, and then actually going 2 fence posts over, putting the logs on the outside of those 2 fence posts, the slabs on top, and there we go. That's the right gap. For the corners, I put another log on top so it's 2 blocks tall, and then we can put a lantern on top of that. I think that is the look we're gonna go for. I like it a lot. It's very, very trapdoor heavy, but I think that should be fine because collecting spruce isn't too big of a deal and it's obviously not very hard. I kind of forgot that these shapes are actually rectangles, so I was able to go with the original style on the shorter parts of the shape. With the fence all finished up, I could run over to the starter island and harvest some bamboo I've been growing next to the house so I can start building this farm. I went online and looked up some images of bamboo farms, and as it turns out, there really isn't anything special to them. It's just a whole lot of bamboo with maybe a pathway through the middle. So that is exactly what I'm going to go ahead and build, is just filling in the sides of this farm with a crap load of bamboo and then making a simple but kind of roughed up pathway going through the center of this plot. I'm going to skip the next farm over, which is the cow pens, because I have bigger plans for this area. So I'm actually going to come down here to the sugarcane farm and go ahead and build this bad boy. Going online for a second time to look up some images of realistic sugarcane farms, it turns out they're not much different from bamboo farms, pretty much just consisting of a large field that is packed to the brim with sugarcane. Similar to the bamboo farm, I also decided to add in a pathway down the middle that is out of path block, cobblestone, and some stone buttons, just to make it a little bit easier to collect the sugarcane. Moving on, I want to go ahead and build the sweetberry farm, which is pretty much just going to look like a vineyard as far as what I've seen online. But you know, I'm not exactly sure if I even have any sweetberries. I freaking hope we do, because the taiga is very far away. Okay, that's not a good sign. There's none in here. Is there any down here? Nope. Oh, you're kidding me, dude. I really don't have any freaking sweetberries. As it turns out, I did not have any sweetberries, so grabbing a boat and a bunch of food, it's time to head out on a small adventure over to the taiga. What sucks so much about this journey is, like, I'm not even exploring. I've already seen all this stuff. I've already been to this abandoned nether portal. I'm literally just backtracking back to like episode 1 where I looked for spruce logs. At some point in this journey, I ended up getting pretty lost and came across some pretty cool things. Oh my god, dude, it's a freaking a pill garden. Oh, I have not seen one of those yet. Oh, dude, yeah, I definitely got to go explore that. I have yet to actually like run through one of those things since they've come out. Oh, this is so freaking sweet. Pale moss, definitely gonna grab some of this. Closed eye blossoms. Oh my god, I'm so bad about like reading anything with the new updates. Like, I don't even know what half of the it is. It's just kind of like here. What is this flower? That's cool looking. Oh, it's just a poppy, but does it look pale because it's in here? Oh, dude, this is so freaking cool. I'm gonna harvest up a little bit of this wood so I can have it, along with grabbing at least 4 saplings. Now, I obviously know the creaking is a mob now, and I don't exactly know how they work. So hopefully they don't come and attack me, because I will be absolutely f***ed since I have no idea what they do. Or, oh, okay. See, I heard something there. I heard something and I didn't like that sound. I'm just gonna collect the wood and get the hell out of here. Like, dude, what? All right, I'm gonna go a little bit higher just to check things out, see if there's anything cool about this place. Oh my god, dude, that sound is the freaking worst. I'm gonna grab a couple more moss blocks and I'm getting the hell out of here. It's becoming nighttime and I don't want to deal with the assholes that spawn in. Oh my god, dude, you have no idea how long it is freaking taking me to find this place. I got so lost that I don't know if I was running in a circle or in the wrong direction or back to base, but I finally have found one. And I don't even think this is the original taiga I went to get spruce saplings back in episode 1. Oh, and then we have some sweet berries. Give me all these bad boys. I want to collect up as many as possible so I don't need to wait for them to grow to build the entire sweet berry farm. Yeah, I don't think 40 is going to be enough. I think over 2 stacks should be plenty. We also have a village over there that I don't think I have explored. Why do these chickens look so freaking weird? Look at it from the side. It looks like it has a helmet on. What the hell? I love that they added in all the new mob variants for like each biome, but look at like something's wrong there. That looked like something wrong, bro. You look like your head got flattened. All right, enough screwing around. What do we have in this village? We had absolutely nothing in that village. It was so terrible. Like literally the only chest had some potatoes and apples. Not even a freaking bundle, dude. Oh, wow. That is a large cave. Oh, we have another village right on the other side of the mountain. This village also has pretty much nothing good inside of it besides these 2 gold blocks on this abandoned nether portal. Anyways, I am going to make my way back home because I have spent too much time out here looking for the sweet berries. Home sweet freaking home. I am so happy to be back here and to continue building up all of these farms. Give me a minute. I just paused to eat my lunch and there's so much goddamn food stuck in my freaking teeth right now. It's becoming nighttime. I gotta sleep. I gotta sleep. Throw this bad boy down and then sleep through the night. God damn it. Apologize for that, but let's get back to it. So just like the other 2 farms so far, I went ahead and built the fence around the perimeter and then made my way over to the lumber yard so I can collect up about a stack of spruce leaves using some shears. Going online for a 3rd time today, I found some images of vineyards and most of them tend to be pretty dang big. And obviously I am working with a pretty small area. So I'm just going to take a few of these photos as a reference and try to scale them down. I mean, look how happy these people look picking berries. That guy is so excited right now. He's like, I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. All right, what the am I doing? Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try scaling it down to fit in here. Using a ton of spruce fence posts and fence gates, I sort of built these posts that are gonna hold the vines up, which I think will give it that realistic look, because in most of these photos, that's how the vineyards are set up. Oh my god, dude. I knew that. I saw the durability was so low and I'm like, oh, I can... Oh my god. The 2nd time today, I have broken one of my really good tools. I am just going to craft another diamond axe, but I'm not going to worry about enchanting this one just yet because I at least want to finish up the sweetberry farm. No, I don't have an extra one in here. God damn it. That is so irritating that I've done that twice in today's video. I was planning on putting some pots on top of the spruce leaves and then putting sweet berries inside of those pots. But as it turns out, you can't put sweet berries in pots. So instead, I am going to make do with just some poppies, which I think from a distance should be fine. Okay, it doesn't look great, but yeah, it'll manage. With the sweet berry farm complete, it is time to move on to the next farm, which is going to be for moss. This is going to be a little bit of an interesting one because moss is obviously a real thing, but moss farms, I couldn't really find any images online. So we're just going to have to kind of build this one how I would imagine a realistic moss farm to be. So starting off, I want to find the center of this shape, which is right here. And I'm going to go 2 more blocks out on each side, get rid of the sign and go like this. And I think moss grows in a 5x5 block like area. But to make it a little bit more interesting, I am going to go ahead and add a few more blocks like this to turn the shape into a circle, just like that. And then using some spruce stairs, I'll go around like so. Now we have a pretty large circle. I'm going to go ahead and replace that center dirt with a piece of moss and then grab a little bit of bone meal to test this out to make sure no moss grows down here. Okay, so the moss can definitely grow down here if I bone meal towards the edge. So what I'm going to do is replace all of the surrounding grass with some dark oak planks, which I used, one, because they can't be turned into moss, and also I really want to add a different type of block to this farming area, and dark oak seemed like the right thing to use. Moving on to the 3 crop farms, I want to change up the fence design a little bit so it's not looking too repetitive. And what I'm thinking right now is still having the 2 block high oak logs on the end and then doing the 3 block gap like so, and kind of, no, I don't like how that looks. Oh, you know what? I do have another idea. Using some cobblestone walls and mossy cobblestone walls, I can do something a little bit like that. And then on this bigger portion that's 5 blocks wide, I can do that. And then we get this nice like rise for the fence gate in the middle. Oh yeah, and I can put some slabs like that. Yeah, I think I like how that looks. It's not much different than this one, but I think the use of cobblestone will help just make it look a little bit different, which is all I am really looking for. So instead of using spruce slabs and spruce trapdoors, I actually switched them out for oak, and I think I'm going to strip down all of these oak logs. Let's just hope I like it, because now that I don't have efficiency on my axe, it's going to take a whole lot longer to fix this if I don't like it. Oh yeah, I really like how that looks. It's pretty different from those ones over there, but I think if I kind of mix it in for these 3 and then do maybe another one of these up top, it might look pretty damn good. So with a design figured out, I went ahead and used our moss farm for the first time so I can get some more mossy cobble to craft into mossy cobble walls. Now that I have those, I can go ahead and build another one of these new designs directly next to the one we just built. But I felt like if I did another one of these and had a cluster of 3 of them, it probably wouldn't look super great. So for this far end farm, which is going to be the wheat farm, I decided to go back to the original style. After going online and looking at some images of carrot, potato, and wheat farms, as I already knew, these things don't really have anything special about them. All of them pretty much just consist of having rows of crops and then water or dark fertilized land in between them. So with that being said, I made my way back over to the starter island so I can harvest up all 3 of these crops, which luckily I should have more than enough, which means I can go ahead and get started with the carrot field. Simply by doing maybe a little small pathway kind of running through the center of this thing, and then cutting out some grooves in the land to fill with water. With the water in, I can now turn this grass into farmland and place all of the carrots in. You know, I don't hate how that looks. I think it's going to look a lot better once all of these grow up. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this to the other side. To finish things off in this carrot area, I actually want to use a little bit of bone meal and bring in some tall grass, just so once again the place kind of has that like overgrown sporadic look to it. With the carrot farm complete, I could now move on to the potato and wheat farms, which are both pretty similar, but I did decide to change up the layout when it comes to where the water is along with where the crops are planted. To finish things off down on this lower level, I also built a small 2 tall flower farm, which looks very similar to the sweetberry farm, but you know, I am very happy with how this turned out. I think all 3 of these crop farms are looking absolutely incredible. I really love the potato farm over here. I like the way the water runs and the crops. Something about it just looks really nice. Anyways, before I continue filling in all of these spots, I want to head back down to the skeleton spawner to hopefully get some efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3 on my axe. Please give me some unbreaking 3 with this. Oh my God. I really want to get unbreaking 3 because the last axe didn't have it and I constantly had to repair that. So I'm going to get back up to level 30 one more time. Once I was back up to level 30, the enchantment table was showing efficiency 3, and I decided just to go for it, hoping I could get unbreaking 3 also, which luckily I did, so I was able to combine both of my enchanted axes to get an efficiency 4 unbreaking 3 one. With that, I can now head back up to the surface, but finally I'm actually going to build a staircase this time. That was a really close call. I kind of forgot that there's a water channel right there. What if I go onto this side and dig up? While digging up to the surface, I ended up running into a cave that I decided to explore for a little bit. This is why I'm so glad I decided to run around this cave, because we have at least 1 diamond. Okay, we have a second one right there. And what are we getting? Because we're using 4. Oh my god, I just got... Well, no, I already had 3 diamonds. Never mind. I was about to say, I just got 4 diamonds from each one of those ores, but no, that's not the case. All right, I'm getting out of here. I want to continue this staircase up because I have some farms to work on. Of course, out of every cave to dig into, I dig into a freaking water cave, which is like the worst thing because now all of the torches I placed in are now broken. Is that all of it? Did I get through all the water cave? Okay, I think I did. Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Although there's like no torches down at the very bottom, which means I need to be very careful next time I go down there because there might be mobs waiting for me, just waiting to kill me and end this world. With all of the farms done on this lower section, it's now time to move up to this higher section, and I'm going to start off with building a cow pen. Because these are my current animal pens, and this is the cow pen, which is just not big enough to have a whole bunch of cows inside of here. My thought is, rather than building just an animal pen, doing some fences like this, is I actually want to build almost a small barn right here. But first, I'm gonna need to use this brand new axe I have to go collect up a crap load of oak logs and spruce because I'm pretty much all out of them. Oh my god, what are you doing up here? What the hell? Oh my god, thank god I have feather falling, because if that guy knocked me off, I probably would have died from that height. Dude, of course the one time I want to use dark oak logs for something, I'm missing the fourth sapling. I only have 3 of them. I've gone through every single one of my chests, and yeah, I just have 3 saplings, which means I can't grow a tree. So hopefully for the 3rd time, or is it the 4th time, I'm heading out on a journey to go collect up some dark oak logs, along with some saplings, so this doesn't happen again. Luckily, I know exactly where I'm going this time. The dark oak forest is right next to the pill garden we explored earlier, so once I got myself over there, I collected up about 3.5 stacks of dark oak logs, along with a bunch of saplings. Hopefully 18 saplings should be more than enough, so if I lose any, at least I'll probably still have enough to bone meal a tree. With that, I can head back home now. While on my way home, I did come across 2 beehives that I decided to collect up because I can use that to build another farm in our farming district. With more than enough blocks together, including the dark oak I wanted so bad, I can go ahead and start building this small barn, which is going to be the cow pen. First things first, I actually decided to change the shape of this outline, going from a 13 by 15 to a 15 by 15. I did this for 2 reasons. One, I felt like the smaller size wasn't going to be big enough for the barn. And the second reason is that the longer side of the rectangle was in the wrong direction from what I wanted the direction of the barn to be. Anyways, once I had this adjusted, I could get started on this barn. First, by using a bunch of stripped dark oak logs as the main post for this structure. I wanted to work out what the front and the back were going to look like first before actually building up any of the solid portions of the walls. With the front and back design figured out, I started to work on just one side of the building, trying to come up with a good look. And I want this side to be different from the other by having a opening or a 3rd entrance going into here, because I think it will help just split up the roof a little bit so it doesn't look so symmetrical. Once I had both of the lower sections finished, I could then move up to the higher middle section, which for the walls, I decided to put a window every other block with a trapdoor above it, which I think looks super nice. And then similar to the lower sections of the roof, I'm going to do the same for the top by using stone brick slabs as an outline and filling in the rest with some spruce slabs. With the barn complete, I now just needed to throw some cows in here, and I spent a little while looking around for some stray ones, but it turns out I guess I must have killed them all, or I have no idea. So I ended up just grabbing them from the pens I already had built and dragged them over to the barn using some leads. Moving on, I want to get started with the bee farm or honeycomb farm or honey bottle farm, which is going to go one spot over from the barn. I went online and looked up some images of bee farms, and most of these things are just out in the middle of fields or even in forest, and they're not really inside buildings. But in this case, I'm gonna change that up a little bit and build an apiary, because bees are incredibly stupid in this game, and I really don't want them to like all start disappearing into random places. I went with a totally different block palette for this building by bringing in a bunch of the pale oak we collected earlier from the pale garden, along with using a whole bunch of white stained glass for the walls and the roof, which I think will really help sell that this is an apiary / greenhouse. After taking a step back, I felt that the building was just far too bright, being completely built out of white stained glass and stripped pale logs. So for this center section of the roof, which is going to be slightly higher than the rest, I brought in a bunch of oak planks and oak stairs, which I think helps offset the color just enough. For the decorations on the outside and inside of this building, I went ahead and put our brand new moss farm to use, collecting up a bunch of flowering azalea saplings, along with all of the different moss variants, which I'm going to use to make this place feel super overgrown. And to finish things off inside of this apiary, I want to add a second door right there. So actually, you know what, that probably doesn't make a goddamn difference. I'll have to figure out a solution there, because I want to have like an area so the bees can't escape as I'm like opening doors, but I'll figure that out later. I actually want to go ahead and throw a campfire down right there, and then a piece of scaffolding. Oh, I can't do that. Can I do this instead? If I break this campfire, break that, put that there, and then put a trapdoor right here. Can I put scaffolding on that? Sweet. And then I can place the beehive down. So now I can just go ahead and do the exact same thing on this side. And we should have a total of 6 bees inside of here, because this one has 3 and this one has 1. Is there another one somewhere? Oh yeah, there's one inside and the other 2 right there. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, see, that's, what the frick, dude? How did... Really? That's why I need double doors. That was my point. I'm gonna put that one right there. Then I can close this and close that, and then break that, and then close that, and then boom. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I also need to put some flowers in here, because these bees have nothing to pollinate. That is definitely more than enough. I wonder if I can actually get this bee back inside. If I kind of do something like this, can I lead him back in? Okay. Yes, I can. Sweet. And the apiary is now done. Before we build this final farm, which I'm still deciding on whether or not I want to do a tall grass farm or a cactus farm, I would like to first build an interior inside of this farmhouse, because if I don't, I probably never will. Keeping things fairly simple, I am first going to fill in all of these gaps between the cobblestone and andesite areas. And now, using a crap load of oak slabs, I'm gonna place in the floor. Off to the right side is where I'm thinking I am going to put the kitchen, by just placing some furnaces in, and then actually below this smoker, no. Wrong block. Below the smoker, I want to put a campfire in, and the smoke should rise through. Yes, it does. Then I'll place 2 more furnaces right here, some barrels in the back corners. I can place a lantern on one of them, and then I'm going to do a pot and a poppy on the other. Then I can actually put a rail on top of the smoker, so it looks a little bit like a grill. But right now, that obviously doesn't look good, having the smoke just, you know, like rise straight through the building. So using a stair, I'm gonna do something like that, which allows me to put a temporary block below that stair with some trap doors, and then I can actually remove that temporary block. So now it looks like we have a bit of a overdraft or draft system. I don't exactly know what they're called. With the kitchen mostly complete, I started to work on the rest of the downstairs, and this interior isn't going to be the most detailed thing in the world, because I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it in the future. Because usually I like to put something inside of buildings or in a certain area that I constantly need to use, so I have to always run through these farming areas or even through buildings to get to that specific farm or item. I opted not to build out the second floor of this interior because I would still love the idea of being able to put some of my farming villagers inside of here. I just need to do a little bit of research to figure out the distance they have to be from the iron farm for it not to break. I mean, I could always just add a bunch more chests to the iron farm and then purposely break it because I'm sure I would have more iron than I ever need. Anyways, it's time to move on to this final farm, and I think I have decided on doing a cactus farm because a tall grass farm probably isn't the most useful thing in the world. And anyways, when I went online to look up images, there really isn't much to them. They're just really, really large fields. I mean, literally a grass farm is just a giant grass lawn that they kind of just harvest, so I couldn't even do that. Keeping the trend going of adding in new blocks and more colors to this farming area, I decided to be a little bit risky and build this entire cactus farm out of acacia wood, which I was a little concerned about at the beginning, but once I stripped the logs down to the orange, I felt like this place looked so freaking cool, especially with the green up against the orange. Something about it I just really like. And that is all 11 realistic farms completed in this whole area. Although we are not quite done yet because there is still a bunch of detailing to do along these pathways because right now it looks boring as shit. So first things first, bone meal, aka my best friend. I want to run around the pathways and bone meal these little strips of grass right here. Right in this area where there's obviously too much grass, I can use some trap doors to set up a little barrel looking thing like this. Fill that with water. I actually want to break that and do that. Oh, whoops. I can then put some cobblestone walls up and a grindstone like that with a chain below it, which looks like it's a well a little bit, and to add a little bit more, I can actually take a trapdoor and throw it right up there. Boom. And now we have a little well, which I'm going to build 2 or 3 more of these. Now that this place is completely finished up, I think that is going to have to do it for today's episode. As always, don't forget to check the description for a link to my Patreon where you can find the world download, along with smashing that like button and subscribing if you want to see more content like this. I will see you guys in the next one.